Welcome back, guys, to the Berry Bless podcast. My name is Kayla. So, as you can see, I'm solo today. My husband is back in Arizona. I just wanted to come on here right quick to tell you about my weekend. I ended up traveling this weekend to Atlanta, Georgia for the first time with my younger sister. We attended a event in Atlanta called Access, which is held by 2819 Church, which is a well-known church in Atlanta, Georgia. Yesterday was the event. Um, I was kind of contemplating how I wanted to title this podcast and what I wanted to name it. And the only word that came up in my mind was power. And power has so much meaning behind it. And the reason why I say power, because of the experience that I had this weekend. And backstory, so 2819 Church, um, I guess this is their second event, I was told, that they've had. The first time they only allowed about 5 to 6,000 people. This time around, which was yesterday, they were allowing 16,000 people. And how they do their events, they don't do pre-sale tickets or give tickets out. It's just like first come, first serve type of experience. So you literally get there, and then if you get in, you get in. Well, myself, my sister, her friend, and her friend's brothers came along. We all went together, and we ended up getting there at about 11 o'clock, and the wave of people was insane. I was expecting a lot of people, but not that much people to gather in one place for an event. Usually you see those for more worldly or just concerts in general, but all these people just lining up around the building, just it was a sight to see. And for such an event like this, access of how many people showed up, how many people have flown or traveled and don't live in Atlanta to be there. And then also there was a lot of people that from out of country that came to be part of this experience. Um, just the atmosphere, being outside, being around people that you don't know, all walks of life, all different personalities, all different races, and just coming together in one place to basically worship, gather, pray to God. It was mind-blowing at the end of the day. And it really showed me just how people can come together in one place and be vulnerable and pray for one another, and you don't know this person. We're just talking to them in line, and they needed prayer, so they pray for you. And then while we were walking, mind you, it was probably a good 2 blocks of walking till we finally got to the end of the line. I would say about maybe 2 blocks, block and a half, about trying to find the back of the line. Mind you, it was like wrapped around the State Farm Stadium and kind of like going down the block. It was a very long line. And just going through the crowds of people, and you just hear people worshiping, people praying, praising the Lord, just singing, and just the joyous occasion was just it was warmth. It felt like home. Um and it's crazy to say home, because home is I feel like a very unique and powerful word as well, because, if you feel home, you feel safe. And it just all these people just praising God and just worshiping. And, you don't know anybody's backstory and how they got there. That might have been the only time they've traveled all year or years past, or first time traveling in general. Never been on a plane, never been on a road trip or anything like that. Just to experience this experience like access, which ended up being 1 hour of prayer, and then the other hour was like praise and worship experience, which was unfortunately, like, it was a great experience. We weren't able to make the cut of getting into the stadium, unfortunately. Um, it was a lot of standing for 6 hours about, outside in the heat. Mind you, it was like young and old, like babies were out there, young kids, and it was very toasty outside. The sun was beaming, and people were getting tired. People were sitting down. People brought chairs. People were running out of water. People were fainting outside, just collapsing because they didn't have water. And it's just everybody, when it finally came to the time, so you were only allowed to start lining up at noon. People were already lined up, I guess, as early as 8 a.m., they were saying, or 7 a.m. in the morning. But you weren't technically supposed to line up until noon. And people were already there, like lined all the way down the street. And by the time they opened doors, they didn't go in like a formation and go by the line. It was just like, hey, this is the entrance, you guys just file in, and when we get to that point, we get to that point. So everybody was just kind of clustered into like this big crowd, squished in and just slowly going in. And I mean slowly going in. And unfortunately, a lot of people did not make it in. So it was it was a great experience. It was just kind of an eye-opening experience because people really wanted to get in. There was a people that were upset, but I also thank God that there wasn't any retaliation or people just bombard or rush into that stadium, because it could have been a really bad experience if people just rushed in and trampled through people and stuff like that. But long story short, just the power that that atmosphere of people were there. You don't know if you were supposed to talk to somebody. I ended up actually talking to somebody in line checking into my hotel, and we were just talking about what's been going on in the world, all the hate and all the crime and all the killing and just the hate in the world. And super nice lady, older lady, and she was originally from New York, moved down to Puerto Rico, and she was just visiting for 4 days, and ended up looking at her shirt, and she had a Chosen sweatshirt on, which I didn't even know that, and I was just talking to her, and it was crazy because I'm like, oh, I was like, she has a Chosen sweatshirt on. I didn't even think to ask her why she was there. We didn't even get to that point. We were just talking about other stuff. But we don't know who we run into in life, and who we will run into, or who we talk to, and exchange words with, but we could be their light of their day, or through like that tough time that they're going through. And again, with all the people that were there, we don't know what they were going through. If they needed that prayer time, needed somebody to lay their hands on, or didn't have that support system, and they spent their last nickel and dime just to get to that experience and travel. There was a younger gentleman that was yelling and going up and down the street, where the arena was located. He was yelling that the building is not the church, the people are the church. And that really stuck with me too. I really encourage you guys to go and look that up and see videos, because people were posting and taking videos of us and just standing outside. There's the massive crowds that was just around the arena. There was a helicopter that kept going, circling around and around, and there was drones going around just taking footage and pictures of us just standing out there because of how massive the crowd was. But my point of this podcast is just to say the power of us being humans as people, how we can just change somebody's day by either just talking to somebody and listening, or praying over somebody, being vulnerable, asking for prayer, and just sitting down and just taking it in. It was a great thing. It was beautiful at the end of the day. A lot of people feel like they're a little fish in a big pond. And sometimes I feel like that too personally, like when you don't have a lot of people or a lot of foundation to talk to people about faith, and just being there and people just being so open to talk to you about faith. I know I needed to open that door as well to being more vulnerable and talking to people when I'm out and about and traveling, and being that light, because there were so many people out there advocating and just being that light. If my little sister didn't tell me about this event, I would have never known. I'm not really on social media like that. So it's just, it's good feeling just to be around people. But I just I just appreciated this weekend. I appreciated my little sister. I appreciated her friend and her friend's brothers. They kept us, safe, made sure that we were good. We traveled as a group. We never left each other's side. Just, being in a new place, never been in Atlanta, Georgia. It was my very first time. But it was an experience and I enjoyed it. And I'm hoping and praying that I have more experience like that with either my younger sister or people that I grow close to, or even Derek, my husband. But that is it. I appreciate you guys just listening to me talk. But please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, thank you again. My name is Kayla. See you later.